You all know, if you've been in this channel for a little while, I've talked about my hustle in flipping Jeeps, and I like to kind of focus on these JKs because they're new enough and they're reliable enough that it's easy to flip them, you know. So I usually lift them a little bit and then right the wrong. Not showing you the Jeep, guys. I'm showing you these birds that visit my bird feeder. They are pretty cool. I love to sit here and kind of just watch them because they bicker and fight, but they all eat. Sensors, lights, warning lights, gas cap lights. These are the things that you could either hate, love, or deal with, right? And most people actually deal with it. I think there's a majority of people that ignore or do not have the money, the time, the resources to fix the caution lights on their vehicle, so they drive it for miles and miles and miles. Yes, it can be driven for miles and miles, sometimes hundreds of miles, without any adverse effect to your vehicle because some of the caution lights are really just a warning saying that there's maybe something minor wrong with the vehicle and it needs to be fixed sometime. But like I said, there are vehicles that can be driven with those minor issues, but there are also vehicles that cannot be driven with the warning lights because those warning lights may be something minor that but can cause major things down the road. You know what I mean? So someone like me, I do not like lights. So what are these lights I'm talking about? I have pretty much seen all of these things. Come on. On the Jeep. Right now, I had it turned off by using the scanner. So I'm gonna drive it to see if the codes come back and the light comes on. If I get all the vehicles that have warning lights or check engine lights and I'm trying to resell it, those are some of the points that can be deducted, of course, for the cost of the vehicle when I try to resell it. Remember my video about my hustle to make money so I can buy heritage clothing or parts for my Bronco back here. This is what I do. So I want to make sure that when I resell a vehicle that it's at 100% operating capability so that I can get top dollar for it, right? Hey guys, if you've been hanging around in this channel for a little while, you know that I have issues, right? Mainly mental issues, and I know some of you probably don't care, but I share it because there are men out there that have issues. They're in denial, and I tell you that you don't have to be in denial. You know, I think the more you face your issues, the better you can live day to day and be a normal person. You know what I mean? A lot of the things I do is geared towards making sure that I'm mentally healthy and that I don't have any, you know, unsafe conditions, right? So that's why I love working on cars because it gets me in a zone and it keeps my mind healthy. Now, uh, I have a feeling that my mind is starting to deteriorate. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but I'm forgetting a lot of things. So lately, I'm going to share this with you, a story. I put my phone down, left it somewhere not supposed to, totally forgot about it. I'll show you where. Okay, so check this out. I was replacing this side marker right here for the Jeep, and I don't know why I put my phone here. Left it here and totally just forgot about it. And then my daughter drove away. Not her fault, of course, my fault. And I didn't realize it till hours later that my phone was missing. With my phone is a little wallet where I keep my ID card, cash, and things like that. It fell in the middle of the road somewhere, and I did luckily the locate. My phone worked, and I found it on the ground in the middle of the road somewhere about a couple of miles away from here, and of course it's ruined. And let me show you what it looks like now. Alright, so this is my phone now. In the last couple of days, it's consumed me, of course. I had to go find a new phone. And this is unrecoverable, as you can see, but I was able to recover the SIM and transfer it to another phone. This is the cover, got run over many times. Luckily, I was able to save all of my cards. Nothing was missing. Some were bent out of shape, of course, but it can be replaced. And that's the most important thing because it's life-changing, right? But that's all behind me, and hopefully I don't do it again. Before we begin talking about the advantages and disadvantages, good, bad, and the ugly of having newer cars with sensors and lights to warn us, I would like to start from the beginning. I own this 1962 International Scout. Given I have rewired it to 12 volts, but the rest remains to be 1962, including the engine. And this is what it looks like. This is a 152 cubic inch 4-cylinder from 1962. This is a Weber car, probably newer than when it was issued in 1962. This vehicle has no warning lights with the exception of maybe low oil pressure and no brakes. There's a red light that comes on in the dash to tell me that those have failed, but before I even probably notice that those have failed and the light comes on in here, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, I will have a feeling that of course the brakes is gone, right? And the oil pressure, which I connected a newer gauge right there, will tell me that it's low. So that's a 1962 technology. Some old soul will definitely tell you that it's better to have carbureted engines with no sensors, no lights, no electronics. But I disagree, and I'll tell you here why I disagree. But look behind me right here. That is a 1974 Bronco. It did came with the same, a little bit more advanced technology as this 1962. However, I installed a newer engine on that, and it has the EEC4 computer from a Mustang. That is the early stages, in my opinion, of what I own anyways, early stages of technology in which the sensors are in the engine and it allows for it to talk to the computer in the car to make sure that it has the right balance of air and fuel mixture, monitors the temperature of the engine, the air going in, the air going out, O2 sensors, all of the good stuff. That is not as advanced as, of course, the Jeep back there, right there, right? That is a 2007 JK. Now, I own JKs all the way to 2015 before, and those technology is good, bad, scares people. So this is the 5.0 high output engine from a 1992 Mustang with its multi-port fuel injection and computer. It has O2 sensors, it has the barometric measure, MAF, all of these other things that work together to make sure the engine works flawlessly, right? The thing missing about this is that there's no warning lights or sensors for ABS, bags, doors, whatever have you. Fast forward to 2007, this engine right here, the 3.8 liter V6, and this Jeep was made from 2007 to 2017. They had a change of motor in 2012 to a 3.6 liter Pentastar, but the technology is the same, right? It has a shitload of sensors that monitors every damn thing there is. So the problem running with this Jeep is that it's throwing all kinds of codes. They're not critical to the engine's performance. However, they're annoying as hell. And like I said in my past post, that I sell these back to the public, and I want to make sure that all of that is working. So it's just a matter of tracking it down, and it does require a lot of time. So having to deal with the lights, the sensors, and the caution lights, warning lights, whatever have you, whatever you call that thing, Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? Now, it scares a lot of people because it is, after all, a warning that something is wrong with the vehicle, and it could be major. You can research the codes. You can buy expensive code readers. Uh, Most of the time, it will pinpoint the problem, and you can replace a certain sensor and then fix the problem. However, there are times in which the problem uh, is a mystery, right? You'll have a code, you replace a part, the code comes back, you replace another part, the code comes back again because there's something else wrong, and you have to troubleshoot it, and it takes a lot of time. For those that are not, don't have the patience to fix their vehicle, they have to take their vehicle to the mechanic or to the shop, the dealership, and the cost of troubleshooting, the cost of fixing things could be hit or miss, right? It does cost to troubleshoot and spend some time to locate the problem, and sometimes it can get very expensive, and that's what probably scares a lot of people when they get a hold of vehicles that have the lights on, or the check engine light, or the any kind of light is on. Now, the older vehicles don't have lights, but do they run better? Do they last longer? In my humble opinion, it depends, right? Any vehicle, it depends on what you do with it. How you maintain it is how it's going to provide the service to you on how you maintain it. But let's just say that we're going to compare apples to apples, even though there are two different systems. But if we take care of both of them, the same amount of care and effort, like changing the oil, balancing the tires, making sure the fluids are full, just the maintenance, the daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance, hitting those milestones, any vehicle can last. Now, there are some vehicles that are just made poorly, and there are some vehicles that have proven to last a long time in the world of cars, right? But going back to these sensors and the caution lights and things like that, the older vehicle doesn't have them because they're pretty simple, right? Primitive. It's fuel getting into the engine, a mixture of air, combustion, the engine runs, you put it in gear, and then you drive away. There is no such thing as emissions. There's no such thing as air and fuel mixture the right way, so you can have better gas mileage. You know what I mean? And of course, you don't build up carbon on the valves. You don't build up carbon on the heads. You don't destroy the heads prematurely because you have a balance in the engine. Those are the advantages that I see on having the newer generation of cars, in which the ECU, body control module, all of these things kind of control the behavior of the vehicle. It's like having a mechanic under the hood of your vehicle. When you have the systems like this, and it's continuously checking the balance, checking all of these other factors that make your vehicle run so well on the road, and then notifies you via those caution lights and check engine lights if there's something wrong with the vehicle that you need to pay attention to and fix it right away. Because, like I said before, any minor problem can cascade quickly to a major problem of some sorts if you don't take care of those minor problems. You ever notice that there's minor problem, you ignore it, and then another minor problem comes up, and then before you know it, there are multiple problems that are climbing up to be major problems, and then before you know, your vehicle is not running, it's not starting, it's not running right, it's broken, and then now it will cost you a whole lot of more money if you just have figured out what was wrong with it in the first place, the minor problem, fix it before it becomes a major problem. That's the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to these sensors. Do I prefer the newer vehicles and the older vehicles? It all depends. I love my classic vehicles. I love that 1962 International Scout and the simplicity, but I know engines, I know carburetions, I know all of these things manually that I've worked on for so long time, and I can fix them if it goes wrong, right? I am the mechanic for the engine. I also like the fact that I have a modern engine on a classic car because I can take advantage of that mechanic under the hood to tell me, as I'm driving the vehicle, to tell me what's wrong so I can fix it. I absolutely love the fact that the newer vehicles are run by computers. I am not scared of that. Why? Because there are tools for me to be able to face the challenges of having these lights. Is it frustrating? Of course it is. It's frustrating for everybody, especially if the light keeps on coming back and you've replaced so many things and you're still trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with it, and then come to find out it's something simple that you totally just missed. But I think that is part of having, that is part of the adventure, that is part of the fun in working in these vehicles. It's a good feeling to get a broken vehicle, Christmas tree on the dashboard, and then slowly figuring out one at a time what's wrong with it, fixing it totally, and then getting it back on the road safe, free of engine lights, free of caution lights, and it runs good as if it had just been released from the factory, and it's fixed and it's good to go. So that's how I see these warning lights and sensor lights. I know I keep on going on and on about it, and I hope you learned something from it. I say don't get scared. Learn the process, learn the system, and then you'll be fine. You know what I mean? But I'll make more videos about what I think about the new system, the old system, my cars, and how I work on them. Hopefully, this video helped you, or gave you a little bit of a confidence to know that sometimes those lights are minor, but it needs to be fixed. You can still drive them, but it needs to be fixed because eventually it will affect other systems and become a major problem. That's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed that video. Aloha.